I invite you to do a brief body scan. Perhaps take a moment to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel into the parts of your body that are right now asking for attention. Hi, I'm Veronica Lee. This is your weekly transformational forecast for the week of, what is it, July 25th, 2022. One of the things that is going on with us, this is a collective picture, and I'll come into this week in particular, is that we are really moving through patterns that are pushing the boundaries of our bodies to get us to pay attention. So what I mean by that is that in general, our metaphysical needs are going to be somehow brought to the physical. In the past, we may have ignored those for many years, maybe decades even, and suddenly we end up with a case of this, that, or the other, and we try to cure it, or maybe we do cure it, but we think it's merely physical. Well, people like Louise Hay have been really showing us that our physical sensations, our physical dis-eases are related to things that are going on in the metaphysical sense, these deeper areas. Oftentimes, let's say, she shows it in terms of our thinking, misaligned thinking, let's say. I often see it as more unconscious feeling and beliefs, but nonetheless, it's all basically the same. What's happening right now collectively is that we're really speeding up that process. So it may not be years and years of suppressing something. It might be something that wants to be brought to our attention more immediately. And so it is really important to pay attention. This week in particular, you might be noticing some physical sensations. Perhaps you're noticing some, deep sort of sore eyes in the eye socket, or maybe there's a, headache that's sort of there and just hanging on. Maybe there's a pain in the back of that neck right there. What I'm also seeing are a lot of gut stuff. So is there something going on with your gut, having some issues with digestion maybe? And maybe there's something going on in that lower back. Years ago, I would see patterns in people and see their, different areas that are affecting them as indicators as to what might be going on these deeper levels. What I'm seeing with the lower back right now have to do with deeper patterns related to our lineage, our ancestry, our DNA, and these old stories that are passed down through generation into the today. So are those beliefs related to our security in the world? Or are those beliefs related to who we think we are? Whether it's you're a really good girl, you're well behaved, or men don't do this, so it could be something around your gender. It could also be around, the sense of, we as a family don't do this, right? So these are the types of stories that are passed down. So what I'm seeing this week is that a lot of these patterns are really kind of pushing the surface, pushing up to have us pay attention. One way that you can start to pay attention is simply by doing this body scan. And it can start with, again, you going inward, closing your eyes, feeling just immediately what comes up. Is it something that's uncomfortable? Is it something that's, maybe feeling a little wobbly? Is it something that's a sharp pain that says, I really need you to pay attention right here? Or is it a little more subtle of a throbbing or maybe just a dull headache? What is that sensation? Is it on the right side? Is it on the left side? Oftentimes we might, everybody's going to be different. We might start to associate one part of half of our body as maybe more passive or inward, and one side as more active and outward, whatever that shows up for you. But by becoming quiet and scanning, we can then start to hone in on those particular areas and ask, what's going on here that I need to know? What's being provoked here? what is going on that is trying to give me information, and how can I not only pay attention, but start to shift it into, well, let's say wellness, into wholeness, back into its highest state of expression. Let's see what else, if there's anything else going on. I am seeing a little bit of validity, not validity, being valid, but volatile, that word, whatever that is, volatility, there it is. In terms of something just sort of simmering under the surface that could also, kind of like these little aches and pains, could also erupt and decide it wants to be expressed. So paying attention to your environments, paying attention to these places that are sort of seething, and looking again, how can I heal this? How can I take part in its transformation, what it wants to move through, right, in a healthy way. I was at the gas station the other day, and I heard a couple of people yelling at each other. It was so shocking. And so it was that sense of, seething and a little explosion, and thankfully it was just arguments, but it did make me uncomfortable. So paying attention as well to your environment to make sure you're not in unsafe situations. With that, this week has shifted from, Cancer into Leo. Leo has a lot more, bright, wants to be in the sunshine, showing itself off, and also some courageous, energy of trying new things and risk taking. And also this place of really being regal and stepping into that, its throne, right? So just kind of feeling into that, where that's arising in you, and ways that your inward parts, your physical sensations in your body, are trying to sort of help you transform these parts that want to step into your power more. So with that, I will see you next week.